There's this clip I want to watch. Reason why Michi is afraid of men. A little bit of a trigger warning. Apparently it's a little dark. She tells like a story from a friend, from what I've been told, with a friend. So if you're okay with that, watch it with me. And if you think it's gonna make you uneasy, just you know, come back in 25 minutes. It's really bad. It was hard to listen to. Okay. Serious trigger warning.
Triggered with things related to physical abuse and harm. Click away for like 15 to 20 minutes. Please know I'm okay now. It's over. Okay, so story time, chat. I'll tell the story in a very happy way, just so then it won't sound too sad and too scary. And I don't want to worry anyone, so I'm gonna say it in this way. But back then, I've actually never told chat this, but I have spoken a little bit about this in the past. So back then, when I was in at that time, early high school. Is it that bad? Well, TLDR, I almost died. But the good thing is it's almost. Back then, when I was a wee old bean, I had a good amount of friends, I say. Just like some people I know. I know this one guy. This is before a lot of fears and stuff start happening. But I know this guy, and he's a really nice guy. He's just very troubled. You know what I mean? Like, he has a lot of demons to fight by himself. And he comes from like a broken family. And he's very, well, yeah, troubled. When I say troubled, it's troubled, right? Every now and then he contemplates like game ending, you know? So it's like one of those, right? And we became friends. We started talking. It was great. And here's the thing, one of his parent, I guess, because I guess they feel bad.
I like this people emote that they're spamming here. I really like the Twitch culture, like the emote culture is hilarious.
With the family or whatever, they would give this person a lot of money. So they would have expensive bags. Well, not expensive, but they would have it. Like bags, cars, watches. Like, bro, he has a car, right?
Okay.
And I know you're like, wait a minute, you were early high school and he has a car. Yes, chat. In my country, it's very common for people who don't have a driver's license to drive. Yeah,
really?
Is it legal? No. But is it common? Yes. At that time, he was also kind of cool. In my eyes, I thought he was kind of cool because he had a car. It was during the time where you're not actually supposed to drive and he drives. So I was like, wow, that's so efficient. And, you know, like if you ever need anything, this guy is like the pickup guy and stuff. And he has a car, you know, that's awesome. So we became good friends. We were friends for a year and a half, and I've known him for a year and a half, maybe even longer. So it's not like I just met this guy. Like, I've known this guy for more than a year. So at that point, it's very safe to say I know him. He is troubled, but more so to himself. So it's kind of those like, I feel safe around him. Until one day, now here's the fun part of the story. He started becoming very clingy. Like, every time he would have dark thoughts, I guess he would talk to me about it, and I can listen, so I would always like, oh yeah, tell me what's wrong, blah, blah, blah. It started from like talking in public to like more private to very private. And at that time, my sense of danger is not the highest, right? Like, I'm not very aware of these things. And also, I've known this guy for more than a year. So I was like, all right. And it went to a point where if, let's say, he has some problems, he would drag me away, or he'd be pissed at me if I'm not there. It was like, oh, I almost like game ended myself because you weren't here. And I was like spending time with other friends, or I'm like working, or like I'm talking to other people, I'm sorting shit out, and they're like, oh, you weren't there. Where were you? It became very like possessive. Like, he became very, very possessive of me. At that time, I felt mostly guilty because he would be like, oh, I would have game ended myself and it's all your fault, right? And I felt bad because I was like, shit, you relied on me and I wasn't there for you. I was young. I also became...
That's very difficult to deal with. Yeah, massive red flag. I don't know, this is tough because you want to help people that, like, you know, are in despair, but a lot of the time it's also kind of used as a mean to manipulate people, which is also annoying. Yeah, I've had similar things happen too.
Very, very worried about him, and I would also sacrifice time for him specifically because I don't want him to die, you know? And then, now here's where it...
But you're in a conundrum, right, when it happens, because you're like, oh, he could be doing this for attention, but then there's that 1% chance it does actually happen. And if it does actually happen, you don't want you want to know that you've done everything in your power to stop it. So you're kind of like forced to react to the game ending threats every single time. Like, how do you deal with that? Is there like, I wonder what psychologists like advise people to do in those situations. What is the correct way to do it? To, in one way, not enable the behavior, but on the other hand, make sure that the other person is safe.
It kind of goes bad. One time, this was unironically in like broad daylight. He basically told me that he's going through a lot of shit, he's going through a lot of stuff, and he wants to talk about it. And I was like, sure, talk about it. And he's like, no, I want it to be more private because it's like very personal and he doesn't want other people to hear it. And I was like, all right. So then I followed him to his car that was parked in like this parking lot that's in a building. And the parking lot was pretty empty at that time. It was still in midday. This is not like at nighttime. And he wanted to talk in his car. And I thought that was normal because he has done this before. Like, this has happened before. Nothing bad ever happens. The worst case is he cries and shit. Like, I thought he just needed to cry, right? And I get it. You know, some men have trouble crying. So that's what I thought. So I followed him to his car. Well, I guess I said the wrong thing. Like, that one thing led to... It started with him venting. And then I guess I responded incorrectly. And then it ticked him off. And then he got upset. And then I was like, shit. You know, I was like, damn, I don't want to leave him angry. And I feel bad because I didn't mean it. Oh, so I'm trying to like calm this guy down. And this guy is like bigger than me in every sense of the word. So I was like, ooh... I'm trying to calm you down and everything. And then he starts like mentally breaking. Like, bro had like a full breakdown. And again, I've known him for more than a year and a half. The breakdown kind of felt more aggressive this time. And I got my ass beat. And I got my ass beat, and then I passed out. So that was the first time I was like, oh my god, I would have died. Because I actually did, like, pass out. And then I woke up because he was, like, slapping the shit out of me, and he's like, don't die. And I was like, oh, I'm awake. Yeah, I had a lot of bruises, and it wasn't very nice. Well, to be fair, I was also kind of angry because I guess I had a lot of pent-up aggression, you know what I mean? I was like, you pulled me out, blah, blah, blah.
She said that so, like, fast. Like, I got my ass beat. Like, this is what I say when I'm like meme sparring with somebody in my martial art classes. I'm like, yeah, I got my ass beat, but I didn't really get my ass beat. It's just that, I mean... I lost, but it's not, I didn't actually get seriously beaten. She got hurt to the point where she passed out. That is so beyond messed up. Yeah, she said it dismissively, but it's very serious.
And now I'm like scared, blah blah blah. Like, you've been doing this for like a while now, and I'm mad. So when he got angry, I got angry. So then now we're both angry. And yeah, I got my ass beat. I laugh at it because I don't want it to be too sad. But yeah, he kind of like choked me, and then I passed out. And then he slapped me awake because I wasn't breathing for a bit. And then I woke up, and then I was like, what the fuck happened? So that's what I'm saying, chat.
Disgusting.
When the thought of like, oh my god, I could die crosses your mind, you shut down as a human being. It's not the same. And you've thought of like, I can defend myself. Nah, you can't. I'm saying, like, I don't mean this in a way that's like, you're weak. No. Human instinct, if you're not built for it, you can't. It's not safe to escalate a situation. Yeah, I don't have now you know why I have this weird fear of being alone with a guy. Actually, I've never gotten to tell you guys why, but now you know the reason I don't like sharing a room or being alone with just a guy. Now you know. It's weird. I trust them, but at the same time, you know, it's like, I've known this guy for so long. I didn't think he would be able to do that. I didn't think he was...
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, everybody that's betrayed you, you never thought they would betray you until, like, it started getting sour. Then maybe you started getting seeing some red flags, but yeah, there was a certain degree of trust before. This is so messed up. I am so disgusted that somebody could lay a finger on poor Michi. She doesn't even come off as somebody like that has a lot of trust issues or that's like deeply traumatized. She's not like angry at men, you know?
She deserves better.
Dude, she does. She does deserve better.
Capable of like hurting somebody. We all think that way. But then they can. All it takes is like one loose screw, man. And then one loose screw for them is your life. So now you know I have this weird fear of like shit happening and vulnerability or like physical touch. I was more touchy back then. I was more touchy when I was younger. Ever since then, not the biggest fan. I'm not traumatized anymore. Like, I'm not thinking about the story. Yes, a part of me is like, ah, shit, what a horrible time. But I'm not like mentally broken by it anymore. So that's great. It's like, I don't want to give them more power. I don't want them to fucking sit in my mind and still affect me as a human being now after everything I went through, right? But at the same time, of course, wounds heal, but they're still there. You know, like sometimes you still see shit and you're like, ah, what a sucky time. But and maybe some habits or some fears kind of drag along. And some of my friends, like for example, this is why I also trust my Japanese friend and Kuro. I trust them a lot because they've known this about me. And now you know why my Japanese friend is like, I'm not gonna be alone with you no matter what. And I appreciate it. I know a lot of my friends go out of their way to not put me in a situation that can remotely be similar to that. But sometimes I feel like I do feel bad. You know, I feel like, I have too much needs. You know, it's like, you don't have to do all that. Like, I want to be able to be human and normal. Long time ago, chat, it took me so long to be comfortable being next to a dude and being in a car. That's why I take public transport. But now, it's just like, I don't want to be alone with a guy in an area that is secluded and can be locked. Did you report him? No. I still remember this. Basically, my parents, my dad specifically, was so pissed. Here's the thing, this story might be like, oh, that's crazy. My dad was so pissed, but there's really nothing else we could do. And I didn't really want to say anything because I still felt bad. I didn't want him to like... I know this sounds stupid, chat, but at that time, it makes sense to me. I don't want to...
I'm just listening to her. I don't really want to cut her off too much. I don't think you should say to fix stuff. What are you talking about? Who are you responding to? Public transport win? Apparently the public transports are getting worse now. So, okay, I'm glad that like some of her friends are taking care of her. It looks like she has like good friends though now. That's cool. That's cool. Don't skip your martial art classes. That's always been something I wonder about. How do you react if you're getting attacked? The thing is, I mean, my martial art classes won't be enough for me to, because it's all instinct. When it happens, it's all instinct. So you need to like instinctively parry. If you're getting attacked, you're not gonna be like, what's the stance again? Oh yeah, my leg goes there and I'm supposed to put my arm up here. You know, it just needs to be like, whoop, dodge this, whoop, put your hands here. No. Yeah, they taught us how to get out of a chokehold or things like that. It's actually pretty easy to, if you position yourself properly. But I feel like every time I have to remember how to do it.
Add to his burden. And I felt bad if he gets in trouble because he's already got so much to handle. I know it's stupid, I know, but like, I was young and stupid and maybe gaslit a little bit. So I was like, hell nah. But I remember I went back home and I met my parents. And at first, my shoulder, my neck, my collarbone, the sides of my jaw, it was like red, right? The next day, it was purple. It was purple for a month.
Yo, he beat her. Okay, I don't want to say like very triggering words. That's why I stopped myself. But he hurt her really bad. Nah, this is bad. This is not okay. This is not okay. Just pretend the guy you're beating up is your chat. My teacher was yelling at me, and one of them is a woman. Okay, there's like a few teacher, but the women are the strictest one, and they genuinely scare me. Like, strict women scare me, like the cold ones. They're very, like, they throw a punch and you can tell that the punch is powerful, but they're also very light. Like, they can lift them, like, it's like their bodies are very light. They feel light, so they can do, they're very nimble with their moves, but hard at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. I'm definitely not there yet.
Well, maybe slightly less, but it was like bruised. Like I fucking looked like I had a hole. I had to wear like a turtleneck for a very long time. Yeah, and I remembered this because I was trying to be like, oh shit, it ain't that serious, I guess. But obviously, you know, if it's to the point of like my cheeks and shit, it's obvious, right? So my parents saw that, my dad saw it, my dad was like, what the fuck happened to you? And I was like, it's fine. I can't say I fell. You know, like, it's like not cheeks, but the bottom side of your jaw, like above your jaw, under your cheek, that area. My dad was like fuming, and I can't say anything, and I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I at that time I was more traumatized, so I was like breaking down, and my dad didn't push me. Cause like, I appreciate it. I feel like if my dad really pushed me to tell him everything that happened, I would have just like snapped right in half, right? So my dad didn't push it. We never really talked about it since. It's one of those things that at one point he realized he can't do anything. The best thing to do is just to let me heal. So he was very supportive on like that healing process for me.
Okay.
So I appreciate him a lot, but I didn't speak up. I was.
My father would have, I don't know. I wonder how my parents would have acted. I think my dad would have been furious and he would have went to find that guy. That dude needs to be locked up. I don't care how many mental issues you have. You don't put these on innocent people. Your freedom ends where other people's freedom begin. Yeah, these are actual scenarios that traumatize people for life. Well, I think he was a minor, so maybe he wouldn't have gotten locked up, but still, that's like awful. Okay, I want to know the rest of the story. Did she drop him as a friend after? Did they go to the same school? Did they still see, like, how did she react when she saw him again, like in the hallways or something, or in the city where they lived in?
Gaslit! I was manipulated at that. Now I know I was manipulated, but at that time, it felt so real. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I can't add more to his plate. He's gonna like game it himself. That was why I didn't say anything. There's a lot of reasons why people don't speak up. And right now, I'm not speaking up to be like, chat, please, like, this horrible thing happened to me, cry. No, I'm just saying this can happen. And this is every speculation of people being like, oh, that could have been a stranger. Oh, maybe you're in a club or in a suspicious place. No, this was in broad daylight, midday, right? Well, not broad daylight, but it was midday to someone I've known for almost 2 years. I'm saying, chat, it can happen by anybody. And I really...
What are the statistics, though? Isn't it more likely that, like, assaults happen from somebody that you know? I think I can see it now from this story. Oh, yeah. Oh, chat is saying that the same thing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. Now I'm picturing how it could actually happen because of this story, because of what she's telling. Damn. I'm way too trusting of strangers and friends, I guess.
Thought I knew this guy. Like, it's not like I only speak to him once a week. I speak to him almost every day for a year and a half, slightly more. And you just don't know. Like, you don't know what people are, how people are, and what they can do to you. Like, you don't know people. You think you do, but you don't. So it's always best to be safe. Once you're sorry, that's a fucking burden you gotta carry.
I don't think my model is showing like the expression of disgust I've had for the past few minutes listening to this story. Like, I'm so appalled. My model looks like I'm smiling. I am not smiling. I'm so appalled, like, by this. How can you do something to another being, a human being like this? Yeah, I'm outraged.
You know, like, yeah, now I'm like, oh, now I have this cool story and I have lore, haha, fun fact. But at the same time, I can tell you guys the story like it's nothing. But there are bad days where it affects me more, and now I can't hang out with people. Like, I know really good people, they just happen to be dudes and they're really nice, but I cannot be alone with them. It freaks me out and you feel bad, you know, like shit gets locked by you. So you don't want to be in a position where all you can do is just be sorry about it. Better safe than sorry, chat. Don't trust people willy-nilly, alright? And sometimes I understand that if someone's trying to manipulate you, you don't know it. So please listen to someone else. Because at that time, I had friends that told me, it's like, hey, this is not normal behavior. I had, but I felt so bad and I didn't listen to them. You know, like I was like, no, you don't get it, you don't understand. Like they're struggling, blah blah blah. But please know, if your loved ones or the people close to you tell you like this is weird, listen to them. And even then, after everything that happened, it took me longer to realize what happened. I still blamed myself. And I know just now, the way I tell the story, it's like, stop defending him. I try my best not to. Okay, but like I can't. That's just how it is. Like I can't.
You gotta ask your rigging artist to add new. What do you mean? I have more expressions. I'm not gonna press a toggle to like cry. That's even more cringe. If I press a toggle for my angry face, or if this is a serious situation, I think I'm just gonna act like a, you know, like a human being.
I'm trying. I know it's like, oh yes, you probably did make mistakes, but it doesn't warrant it. I understand that. And it's like, you were the victim.
Like, hold up, guys. Let me turn on my crying toggle for this part. Like, I don't know. It'd be so weird. It feel too performative, I think.
Here, I understand that. But I don't know. It's weird. You can't put it to words, so I get it. Don't push yourself so much, okay? It's a process. You get to it eventually. That's the thing. As a middle or high schooler, you don't think the crazy is around you. You hear it from news channels or from like podcasts or like whatever, or like word of mouth. You don't think it could happen to you. So when it does happen to you, you're like,
yeah.
As much as I'm over it, you know.
And you also feel angry at yourself because you're like, how could I have let this happen to me? Like, you're like, no, this isn't me. I'm not a victim. It's like an ego thing. It's like, no, this isn't me. How could I have let this happen to me? I thought I was better than that.
Forgive me for asking, but even if you're not a bad guy, do you think people will still fear a guy like me because of all the horrible, awful things you hear men do? Or am I overthinking it a lot? Just very self-conscious about myself is all.
I think, okay, this is my honest thing. If I didn't go to therapy, I would be afraid of every guy. I was afraid of every guy. But again, it's one of those things where it's not your fault. So it's kind of shitty that you have to kind of do something, even though you never fucked it up. But one thing that I really appreciated, at least, was I met more people. I talked to a lot of people. I started talking to more guys, blah, blah, blah. And they go out of their way to make sure I'm comfortable. One thing that helped me heal faster was my male friends never put themselves in a situation where they're alone with me. They don't like touch me. They don't come close to me. They're very like, they make sure I'm okay, but without really touching me or anything like that. If let's say they're angry, they don't really be angry in front of me. I know that they don't have to do that. And if it's like, oh, so they're not being themselves, yes. Do I feel bad for that? Yes. But they do that because they don't want to make me feel triggered or scared, right? And they don't have to do it, so I really appreciate the fact that they did do it.
300 man.
And it helps.
This reminds me of that one Fuamoko clip where an old man sat on Fuawa's lap on the train and everyone, but Fuawa said nothing. She literally said nothing just to not embarrass him. There is so many situations that people get into really bad situations just because of social norms or like the expected politeness. Like, for example, this is an extreme example, but like most of the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer, if you watch that movie, they all felt like something was off, but he was like, no, just come back home. We're only gonna have, just a drink and stuff like that. And they're like, they don't really want to go. They feel like something's off, but they're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go because I don't want to say no too hard, or, I don't want to, put my foot down. And then, we know what happened next.
It all makes sense now. The sex and relationship paranoia, not wanting to be alone with Shouto.
I'll be real, like, even the only people I'm comfortable with being alone, I've known them for 4 years, and even then, they don't want to be alone with me. So that's also a big factor. Like, they themselves don't want to be there with me alone because they know what I've been through. So I know it sucks, and it's always like, guys get the short end of the stick. Yes, but it's always like, listen, when a guy does it, it's very normal for a person to think that this could happen by any guy.
To say, I'm glad
right?
you're
It sucks, but it just happens, right? If you're a nice person, you don't have to tell other people that you're a nice person. It will show. Over time, your actions, if you're considerate and you're nice, over time, it will show. Does it suck? Yes. Is it unfair? Yes. And that's coming from me. For example, Kuro. Kuro is not the one that did that to me. But now Kuro kind of has to treat me in a way like super fragilely. And now he has to it feels like he's walking around eggshells sometimes. Is it fair for him? No. I've never asked him to do that. He does it because he's scared that I'd shit myself. Right? Which is fair. I know that it's unfair, but I know there's a lot of people that are way more comfortable speaking to men, hanging out with men. Like, there are a lot of women that are more comfortable with men than with women, and that's fair. But there are cases where people like me, I'm a bit scared of men. So it really depends. How much shits can you give? If you don't give a shit, that's fine. As long as you don't cause any harm, right? If that's like too much for you, step back. You don't have to fix them. That's not your job. But if you want to, then that's what you can do. If you don't want to, that's fair. Take care of yourself, chat. Always take care of yourself. You are not someone's therapist. Hearing this, can't help but think that what people perceive as lack of empathy is just dissociation as a result of trauma. I don't know. But there's a lot of things.
What?
I feel like I experienced that
What was the comment she read? Like lack of empathy? What does she mean?
made me who I am.
But what did the commenter say? This is a dissociating response, like the fact that she didn't pursue the guy or didn't try to have him punished.
I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know if this is my mentality or shit that I've witnessed. And that's also why when people are like, oh, what shit have you been watching, girl? So again, I don't think this is good. I am actively still working on everything. And my goal is just to be a normal human being one day. Sometimes I feel disgusted at myself because I would look at my male friends and feel the fear. Sometimes, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. There are moments I would meet like Kuro or my other male friends, like my Japanese friends, and they're taller, bigger than me. And I shit myself. Even though they've never done anything to make me worry, I'm like scared. Like, oh, the room is a bit too dark and I'm scared. And I feel grossed out because I'm like, why would I ever think that way about these people? Like, these are so nice and they've done so much to make me feel comfortable. One day, the goal is I don't want to have that mentality. I want to be able to not have that fear kind of lingering around every now and then. Like, it doesn't happen all the time, but that's the goal. And when I say it's like, I'm just happy to be alive, I am. I wasn't always, but now it's no use, you know? If I'm like, shit happened to me, and then I'm just like wallowing in that, like I'm just like stuck in the time in my life. Hell no way. Real talk though, chat. Recovery takes time. There's ups and
No, I disagree, Tomahawk. Stories like this do not propagate the man hate precisely because of already saying all of her male friends are doing. It's the opposite. It's showing that there are some good men out there that will go above and beyond to make women comfortable and to protect them. I think it's the complete opposite. I think you're seeing this from your own negative bias that you're trying to apply on it. On the contrary, I think she's remarkable. I think she's remarkable in the way she's trying to push through it, that she's not carrying resentment. She's just trying to be more careful. Like, when something happens to you, you tend to overcorrect. Like, fear is a primitive instinct instilled in us for survival. The reason why we have fear and why it's important, it's because back then when we were hunted by a predator, you don't want to just fall asleep while you're being hunted. You needed to be fearful, so your body goes into, fear mode. So you're on edge, and you're on your guard. You're like alert. So I think this is, it's a terrible story. When she gets to say her story, she gets to talk about it. She's talking about it in a pretty nonchalant way, as she put it. And she's also showing that she's made a lot of progress and that, she's got a great support system around it. She doesn't sound bitter. She doesn't really sound bitter at all.
downs and up and down, but when you zoom out, it's a gradual up progress, and that's what you want, right? If you continue to
easiest way to get over her fear is to face it directly, and Michi has developed new male bonds to help her get over her incident. Exactly.
You're never gonna leave. Again, there are so many things that I have not told you. I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood, and I was a bit of a ditzy idiot. So the combo is not the best. But I want you guys to know that these scenarios 100% exist. But this one, I really hope this didn't come off as trauma dumping. I like to think everything that I experienced made me who I am. And without it, I might not be me. And I like me now. I'm getting more comfortable in my own skin, which is great. I don't want to live in the past anymore. I want to look into the positive of things. I want to have a more optimistic viewpoint of life. And when I say, I know that sometimes the things I say sound like, oh shit, you're just being optimistic. I'm not. I used to be very pessimistic. Chat, you knew one thing that is kind of bad that happened to me. And if I told you, chat, I don't have hope in life. I don't have hope in people. I think everyone is bad. I would be valid. Let's be real. I appreciate you guys a lot too. I think talking to you guys also helped me learn to speak. Sometimes speaking up for myself is very hard. But if I told you guys right now, chat's all men, I hate everyone. I'm scared of everyone. Everyone is horrible people. You would low-key understand and that's kind of valid, right? But I try not to be. I work goddamn hard to be an optimist, because being a pessimist sucks ass. Yes, you went through shit, but then now every day, even the future has to be shit?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What's the point? So I try to be more optimistic, you know? I wanna have hope for the future. And I wanna have hope.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sit and pretend here that we have like a psychological degree, or you guys in chat have one. We're not gonna play that at that. We're just here to listen to Michi's story and support our girl and add our randoms 2 cents in it. On the topic of like facing your fear, I guess it depends what it is. You know, it's not all fears you treat them the same. It's kind of like, you know, when you have a car accident and then after that you're afraid of driving. It's like, well, how do you get over it? Well, I guess you slowly have some driving experience where that go well. But sometimes it's not that easy. It's not like a linear progress.
When I see people, I like to think that people aren't bad. I know that sounds really stupid, but I still want to tell myself, and I want to genuinely believe that not everyone is bad, and there's always good in people. Now you also know why sometimes I sound very optimistic. Okay, I'm kind of trying to find a balance in it a little bit, but it's so crazy to me, chat. I did not think I'd be telling you guys this story today. I'm gonna be real with you. I was very much okay with never telling you guys this.
I'm glad she's an exception to that rule, but the rule is that statement being what gets passed around as the narrative. What I find ironic is she's talking about being positive, and you're like being here doom-pilled. Which is the opposite of seeing things in a positive light.
Story ever, like in my whole entire career. But it is kind of weird to have some of your experiences being heard by so many people, but it also feels very nice. I know I'm comfortable telling you guys, but it's also because I'm over this. I've genuinely gotten treated for it, everything. But I want you to know, chat, if something that you've experienced still affects you, please don't tell stream. Like, if you're a streamer and you're like, oh, there's something that I experienced and it still deeply affects me, I don't recommend you to tell it to chat unless you yourself has recovered. Because, listen, right now the people in chat, they're very nice, they're very kind. But there will always be people that don't like me. Because there will be people that will use it against you. And if that shit will trigger you, please do not say it. Like, back then, if I was still triggered by this story and I told chat, there will be people that'll be like, man, you know, the nasty comments. They're like, you should have done the job. You know what I mean? There will always be people that would say shit just because it's funny or because they think they're edgy and shit and they say stuff. I hope they don't mean and they're just saying it because they're upset or they're not in a good mental headspace or they're projecting. I'm okay with it. Being a content creator or being like in the public means that there will be people that will kind of see you as like a punching bag, right? Some people look at you and resonate with you. Some people look at you and just like your company. Some people look at you and treat you like a punching bag. That comes with the job. So when it comes to stuff that would actually trigger you deep down, please don't talk about it, because there will always be people that will say shit, do shit that will trigger you all over again, and it's just gonna be a stepping, like it's a tripping stone for yourself. Yes, the chat right now is very supportive, but outside of this chat, you don't know. Just take care of yourself. Don't put yourself out so much to the point that if someone doesn't like you and use it against you, you are on the ground, like rock bottom all over again. You don't deserve that. So heal, and if you feel comfortable and you are ready, and also the worst case scenario is Wade, and you want to tell someone, feel free. But if you're like, oh, but if someone says something bad, I can't handle it, don't do it. You have the people around you, your friends, your family, your loved ones that will listen to you. The reason I can't tell chat this is I've told my family knows now, and my friends know. They know more than what I told chat. There's a lot of details I have omitted for the sake of, I don't want it to become too scary and too trauma-y, but the best way I can explain it was I was in that situation for hours, all right? So they know more than what you guys know. So over time, you learn to speak up, you learn to kind of not blame yourself a bit too much and stuff like that, and then you get more...
No, it is the man versus bear thing. And I also feel like after listening to her story, now I understand more why some women have like a visceral to the man versus bear trend, and why some people were really upset that I was like, well, obviously it's bear. No, sorry. It's men. No, men. I'm getting it wrong. can't or can. No, I can. I after hearing the story, I can see more why some women have like a visceral reaction to the man versus bear question, and they were like, I would never go for the man. You know, some people in the comments were like, I would never go for the man because the men can do such horrible things to me, and I think most of these people that were saying that is because they've had like traumatizing experiences in the past. The question is a dumb one because it's like, if you're in a forest and there's a bear and there's a man, do you go towards the man or do you go towards the bear? And it's like, you know, most people would choose men because, well, the bear is like a wild, a dangerous animal, and the man, well, you know, there's some shitty people in the world, but I think most people would be inclined to help you. But the question is bad at its source, because the question is, it's too vague. It doesn't tell you enough information, and it's like you're just in a forest. Like, a better version of that question is, if you're on a bridge, like a narrow bridge, and on one side there's a bear at the end of the bridge, on the other side there's a man, which side do you run to? And then like it becomes pretty obvious. Obviously you'll run towards the man. But what's cool about Michi is that she is fighting back against this visceral reaction, and she's also not like, she's just trying to control her fears. She's trying to control her fears. It's like the polar bear quote from Golden Compass. The little girl asked him if he's afraid. He's like, yes, of course I get afraid, but when I get afraid, I'll try to control my fears. So I think that is true bravery. The true bravery is not being unafraid. It's being afraid and still trying to do the right thing and live with hope. And more reasons to like Michi, honestly.
Comfortable, you heal. And then if you're comfortable, then you say it. Don't speculate, don't worry, okay? I am alive. I am grateful, you know? I'm a stronger person now, dare I say. You know what they say? Something broken bones equal metal bones. Is it true? Like, if you break your bones, they say that your bones actually get stronger. They can become weaker? You broke your arm? Yeah, I broke my arm when I was a kid because I was running away from a dog. That wasn't scary. I was stupid. The dog was just really cute, and I was like, haha, come chase me. So I was playing tag with a...
My mom has an irrational fear of dogs. Like, every time she saw a dog, she would start sprinting away from it. And the dogs, of course, what they would do is they thought she was playing, so they would start sprinting after her. And it was like the worst loop ever. So she would get even more scared because she thought the dogs were attacking her. And then when I got my dog, he's like a small, cute dog. I was like, look, Mom, I got a new dog. And I held him up to her and she was like, ah! But after a while, she was like, oh, your dog's not that bad. And now she's not afraid anymore. She got used to him.
Dog. And then I tripped on a rock and then I fell and then I broke my arm. And my mom was like, you didn't break your arm. So then she massaged it. And I was like, oh, you know that fucking plankton? I've told this story to Chat before and I'll continue saying it, okay? I had a broken arm. At first it was a crack. And then my mom, being the slay queen Indonesian woman that she is, she was like, you are exaggerating. It is not a broken arm. You just twisted a muscle. So then she got a masseuse. And the masseuse massaged.
That's what my dad would say at any kind of injuries we would have. Or anything bad that would happen.
My arm, and then my broken arm became actually like broken, you know? And I had like a gauze and everything for like 3 days, and I was like, oh, it was like, mother, my arm. And she was like, can you still move your fingers? I was like, yes. And she's like, then your arm's not broken. And I was like, okay. And then eventually we got x-rays and the doctor's like, what the fuck? Low-key, the doctor assumed that I was like, my mom beats my ass. Because they're like, what happened? To the point that her bone is broken like this. And my mom's like, she tripped and fell. And they're like, no.
Wait, if you break something, then you can't feel if you break something in your arm, you can feel your fingertips. Like if I broke my legs, my leg, I wouldn't be able to feel my toe, to move my toes. Is that actually how it works? I feel like depending on what you broke, you would still be able to wiggle like your fingers or toes.
You can't trip and fall and get this. And she had to be like,
If that
and
happened
we
in
massaged
America,
it.
apps would have been
Frieren,
called
Limon.
I know. And my mom was like, you're stressing out. And I was like, oh, mother, it hurt. So yeah, the doctor was like,
I'm
there's
glad
no
Michi
way.
could survive to give chat TMI and to traumatize horses.
Yes, that's my calling. That's my life calling. And I'm fucking... You say traumatized, but I keep telling you one day you're gonna thank me. Okay, I'm doing what my mom does. But yeah, and my mom told me that it's good that it's broken because now my arm is stronger. And it's stronger than the other. And if I keep breaking it, then maybe one day I can turn into the Wolverine. Like she said, my bone grows on top of my broken bone. So then now my bone is like, there's two bones. You know, it's like double, like I'm double sleeved. You know what I mean? Double protected. So that's what my mama told me. So I don't know if it's real actually. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button for more amazing content. And if you don't...
That's cute. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button. And I'll see you in the next video.